The Sphinx's roar echoed, momentarily silencing the crackle of gunfire. Rhys dove, narrowly avoiding another swipe of its massive paw, the force of the blow sending a spray of dust and debris into the air. Amelia, taking advantage of the distraction, squeezed off a quick burst from her pistol, the bullets impacting against the Sphinx's stony flank. It didn't seem to register. It's not reacting to bullets, she shouted over the din, reloading with practiced efficiency. Carlyle, what do we asterisk? Carl, seemingly unfazed by the proximity of the monstrous guardian, raised a hand, silencing the renewed volley of gunfire from Vogel's men. The resonance, he said, his voice resonating with an unnatural calm. The Sphinx is not alive, as you understand it. It is a construct, a guardian bound to the city by the Harmonic Resonance. Disrupting that resonance awakens something else. He gestured towards the central pyramid. The source of the resonance lies within the pyramid. You must reach it and restore the balance. Vogel, his face contorted with rage, barked an order in German. Two soldiers rushed forward, attempting to flank Rhys, who was providing covering fire. Rhys dispatched them with swift, brutal efficiency, his revolver spitting lead. Amelia, meanwhile, moved toward the pyramid, using the Sphinx's bulk as cover. What about the Shadow Lord? Amelia called back, her hand instinctively drifting to her pistol. Carvel's words hung heavy in the air. He's drawn to imbalance, Carlo replied grimly. The resonance, disturbed, has called him. We must act quickly. The pyramid loomed, its white stone shimmering under the strange, ethereal light of Zerzura. Elaborate carvings, depicting scenes of a forgotten civilization, adorned its surface. As Amelia approached, she felt a palpable shift in the atmosphere, a sense of ancient power, overlaid with a creeping dread. Inside, the air was thick with an oppressive silence. The carvings continued telling a story of the city's rise and fall, its connection to the stars, and the terrifying entity bound to its heart. Amelia and Rhys navigated a labyrinth of corridors, encountering more of Vogel's soldiers. A brief, desperate firefight ensued. Rhys, a whirlwind of motion, dispatched them with cold precision. This place, it's unsettling, Rhys said, his voice low. I don't like it. Focus, Amelia urged, her eyes scanning the shadows. We're close. They reached a vast chamber at the pyramid's heart. In the center, a colossal crystal pulsed with an eerie blue light, the source of the harmonic resonance. But something was wrong. The crystal was fractured, its light fractured with it. A dark tendril of energy snaked outwards, disappearing into the walls. The resonance is unstable, Rhys observed, his voice grim. Whatever caused this, it wasn't natural. Suddenly the crystal pulsed violently, bathing the chamber in an intense blue light. A wave of energy knocked them off their feet. When they recovered, the image of a towering figure shimmered into existence before them, the Shadow Lord. He was even more terrifying than they had imagined. Tall and blond, shrouded in swirling shadows, his face was obscured, but his eyes burned with an ancient malice. A chilling laugh echoed through the chamber. Fools, he rasped, his voice a whisper that seemed to penetrate their minds. You have awakened me. Zerzura is mine. The crystal fractured further, the dark tendrils of energy intensifying. The ground trembled. Vogel and his remaining soldiers burst into the chamber, their faces a mixture of fear and fanaticism. For the Reich, Vogel roared, raising his pistol. But the Shadow Lord merely laughed again, dismissing Vogel and his soldiers with a flick of his hand. They were flung against the walls like rag dolls, rendered unconscious. You cannot stop me, the Shadow Lord continued, turning his attention to Amelia and Rhys. The power of Zerzura will be mine, and through it, I shall claim the world. Amelia felt a surge of desperation. Fitzwilliam's notes, the climb, the Sphinx, Vogel, it had all led to this. This monstrous being, this ultimate threat. She looked at Rhys, his face set in a grim line of determination. There has to be a way, she said, her voice trembling slightly. Rhys nodded, his hand instinctively tightening his revolver. Carvel said something about restoring the balance. We need to figure out what that means. He examined the fractured crystal, tracing its cracks with his finger. It's not just broken, he said. It's been corrupted. Something is feeding on its energy, twisting it. Suddenly, Amelia noticed something. One of the carvings on the wall depicted a ritual, a series of symbols arranged in a specific pattern. She recognized them from Fitzwilliam's notes, a counter-resonance, a way to purify the crystal's energy. I think I know how to fix it, she said, pointing to the carving, but it's going to be risky. She began to decipher the ritual, reciting the ancient words she remembered from Fitzwilliam's notes. Rhys of God, his revolver trained on the Shadow Lord, who watched them with amusement. As Amelia completed the ritual, a wave of purifying energy emanated from her, washing over the crystal. The dark tendrils recoiled, hissing in pain. The Shadow Lord roared in frustration. "You dare interfere!" he thundered. He lunged at Amelia, intending to silence her, but Rhys was ready. He fired his revolver, a bullet striking the Shadow Lord's hand, momentarily disrupting his attack. The crystal began to glow brighter, the fractured lines fading away. The chamber filled with a resonant hum, the sound of the harmonic resonance being restored. The Shadow Lord staggered back, weakened by the purification. But he was not defeated. "This is not the end," he screamed, his form flickering. "I will return." With a final chilling laugh, he vanished, leaving behind only the resonant hum of the restored harmonic resonance. The crystal shone with a pure, unwavering blue light. The threat of the Shadow Lord was temporarily averted. But Amelia and Rhys knew that their ordeal was far from over. The re-emergence of the Shadow Lord was a sign of something far greater at play. They turned to leave the pyramid, emerging back into the city of Zerzura. The Nazi soldiers, still unconscious, lay scattered on the ground. Vogel was nowhere to be seen. As they walked through the deserted streets, Amelia noticed something different about the city. The ethereal sunlight seemed brighter, the air cleaner, but there was also a sense of unease, a feeling that something was lurking in the shadows. Suddenly, a figure stepped out from behind a crumbling wall. It was Vogel, his face contorted with hatred. He held a strange, ornate dagger, its blade glowing with an unnatural light. "You haven't seen the last of me," he hissed, lunging at Amelia with the dagger raised. "The Reich will have Zerzura, one way or another."